I've been talking about this book a lot and talking about the worst thing that ever happened to me. And they were talking about creating with Ryan, which I talk about in the book a lot, like us writing together. And that I said we were like drunk on the intoxication of our like imagination, that we were just creating together. And she's like, you must miss that so much. And I was like, that actually is what I miss the most.
Yeah.
And no one has like brought that up. I started crying because I was like, that's what I lost more than anything, is just that friend.
Hey everybody, it's me, Shay. Welcome back to Grief Witnessed, where we remember, where we tell the stories, and where grief is allowed to exist without fixing it. I'm here with my fellow widow friend. Yay, Leslie. Okay, so Leslie just released a book called You're So Strong.
Yes, and we like to say, you're so strong. That's how you say the title. Yes. You are so strong.
You're so strong. Okay, so the first time I heard about your book, I had just hosted a young widows retreat, and we had like a chat going right after. And one of the girls was like, we should start a book club with us girls from the retreat. And let's start with You're So Strong.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how
awesome.
I first heard about it. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's this lady out there that just wrote a book. So I haven't read it yet, but I need to read it, obviously. But thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me. I love the small widow world.
Yeah.
That, it's funny when this thing happens to you, you feel like you are the only one, like you're a freak because you look at your community and you see these whole families. But then once you start connecting with other widows, you're like, whoa, we're everywhere.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's exactly how I feel. Everywhere. It's like when you buy a white car.
Exactly.
And then there's white cars everywhere.
The widow phenomenon. Yeah.
Yes.
So now it's like, oh, I'm more surprised when people aren't widows.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's your plan when your husband dies? Yeah. It's like, I more expect that. Yeah. That's not, I don't know if that's a good thing, but it does feel like, oh, I know I have so many widow friends now.
Yes.
And I love connecting with widows, obviously. So I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. I'm so happy you're here. Where do you live?
I live in Vancouver, Washington, which is by Portland.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever been over there. It's much different than here. My hair I have like bigger curly hair over there because there's humidity. It's like the minute I landed in Arizona, it was like,
I have naturally curly hair and
it's so dry here.
It's so dry here.
It's amazing that you can just have different hair in different places. But I definitely do.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to hear about your story. I told you I purposely didn't look into your Instagram because I want to know everything like raw and real. So tell me, what's your late husband's name?
Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about Ryan. How did you guys meet? Tell me your love story.
Ryan, the best. We met at work. We both got hired for the same job. So I was fresh out of college trying to get a job in the creative world. I had a degree in screenwriting. So I wanted to write and make stuff. And I got this job opportunity at this children's media company, like making educational videos and cartoons and apps for kids. Okay, so I go to get the job and I get called like, you got the job, but we want to split the job in half and give you like a part-time job because we had this other person apply and he's also perfect for the job. So we met on the same day.
Wow.
The same day of training that we were both starting the same job that they split in two because they thought we were both perfect for the job, which was funny because when we met, we're like, oh, you're the reason I have a part-time job.
Yes.
But also we instantly connected because we both kind of took up the same space in a room. Like we were these creative, kind of nerdy storyteller types. And so we get trained together and he finds out that I went to school for screenwriting. And so he was like, I want to write a screenplay. Let's get together and write. So our relationship right away was a very co-working relationship, like this creative team. And at our job, they always like lumped us together. Like Ryan and Leslie will do that. Give that to Ryan and Leslie and Ryan. It was like we were one before we ever started dating. And Ryan was sort of into me before I was into him because it was very soon. like 2 weeks after riding together, he lowered his laptop and he was like, I love you. No, he didn't say I love you, but he was like, let's do this. And it took me a little longer to see the magic that was Ryan and Leslie. And so eventually I said yes. And we started dating. We got married and we decided to quit our jobs at this company and start our own creative agency together, making commercial videos and kind of doing what we were doing there, but starting our own thing. And so that was really our first baby. And I always say that we truly did everything together, like maybe in an unhealthy way. I don't know. Because our job was merged and we didn't always know how to turn it off. So we're like working and then we're transitioning to married life.
Yes.
And then we also were the kids' church pastors at our church.
That's so cute. I love that.
So we also did that part of life together. And we really were rarely apart unless it was like a guy's night or a girl's hang. It was like our whole lives were merged. And so when he died, that was a real rip in my identity.
Yeah.
I didn't really know who I was without Ryan because we had merged so much of who we were together. He was great. Ryan was so funny, a larger than life person, but really the type of person that would sit down and listen to people's stories and talk to anyone. And that person felt like they were the only person in the room. They had his full attention. And at his memorial, so many people said that he was their best friend. They thought they were his best friend.
Yeah.
It was like at the memorial, like, wait, I'm his best friend.
Yeah. You're like, actually, it's me, guys.
But it really just shows who he was. And when you're talking about your person, which I'm sure you can relate, and you're talking about all these amazing parts of them, it's like you got to see that the closest. Like I got to be the number one recipient of that listening, like focus, like I'm the only person in the world.
Yeah.
Energy. I call it like Christmas eyes. Like he just looked at me like it was Christmas morning and I got that. And so, yeah, I miss him like crazy.
Yeah. How long ago did he pass?
He died in 2019. So 7 years ago in April. Well, it is April. Wow.
Yeah, it's
a
April.
long April.
Wow.
He died April 2nd.
Okay.
So 7 years ago on April 2nd.
Okay. So it was recently his angelversary.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Deathiversary.
Deathiversary.
I go real.
Deathiversary, angelversary. You said he had a stroke. Okay. Tell me what happened.
The story. So we went on vacation. It was spring break and my family and my sister's family, we went to Disneyland and we did the whole thing, like 3 full days at Disney. We stayed in the park. It was a blast, but it was so exhausting. And then after that, we were going to go to Palm Springs and just sit by the pool and relax and have like the vacation from the vacation.
Yeah.
So when we were in Palm Springs, I remember I put our toddler, Rory, he was 1 at the time. I put him down for a nap. And I just remember like sitting down. I had my book. I'm like, oh, now we're in the vacation part. And I'm relaxing. Wit is in the pool, my 3-year-old with floaties. And Ryan just gets up to get something to drink. And then he said, Leslie, something's wrong. So something happened when he went in to get drinks. And there was some sort of pain in his head. And so me and my sister and my brother-in-law, we like jumped to action and tried to solve. My sister's like, what did you eat? Are you having a reaction? I thought he was having a panic attack because that was something that he had because he had grief of his own. His parents had died and I had never met them. They died when he was a young adult. And so I went to panic attack, but my sister was moving very fast and she looked at me and she was like, no, look at his face. We need to call the ambulance. Because his face was starting to droop on the left side, which I knew that meant stroke because of my grandpa had a stroke. And even that, though, my grandpa survived the stroke. And I felt like every crazy story that I had heard, like people needing CPR, they were brought back.
Yeah.
So my brain wasn't going to, oh my goodness, he's going to die. Yeah. No. The paramedics come and we were so close to the hospital And they get Ryan up and he's still talking, but he's like throwing up. He's not doing
Oh my
well.
gosh.
Yeah. And so he's telling me like, get my glasses, like, and I'm telling him like, I'm going to be right behind you because they said I couldn't go in the ambulance. They said I could just follow behind because there was a lot of people working on him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I'll be right behind you. Like, it's going to be okay. And he said, it's going to be okay. And he gets wheeled off. My brother-in-law takes me to the hospital and I'm in the ER and I don't know what's going on. It's such a packed ER in Palm Springs. And I don't know if that was because of spring break. It was just so packed. So I'm like waiting in a line. They put a sticker on me and I'm like, I just get dropped off because there's little kids. So my sister and my brother-in-law need to go back to all the kids at the pool. And so I'm there and the paramedic comes out, kind of updates me that they had to intubate him in the ambulance. So something happened in the ambulance. So then I'm just waiting 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Finally, someone comes in and says, are you Ryan's wife? And do you want to come in? He's getting CPR right now. And even then, that didn't register as death.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, everyone's just doing what they need to do. And so I go in there and he's like flying off the table. There's 13 people working on him. And then people are coming up to me, paramedics, and they're telling me words like catastrophic and probably not going to make it and that we are stabilizing him, but it's not looking good. Like he had a brain bleed. So they were trying to drain blood from his brain. It really was so surreal and topsy-turvy and just something you'd never think that you're going to live through.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically from that point on, they stabilized him and we found out that he had this stroke and aneurysm because he had what's called an AVM that he was probably born with. It's like a bundle of nerves in your brain.
Okay.
I had to decide after then when to take him off life support because he really wasn't functioning. So then it was sort of in my hands.
Yeah.
So we flew in some family, like his brother came and my family flew down and drove and we waited till everybody came. And so the next day we took him off life support and we sang songs around him and it was only 2 songs and he died. Mm-hmm. So it was really surreal. I think sudden death is surreal because obviously it takes your brain a while to catch up with it. But we were also out of town. We were not at our house. So there was that extra layer of, did this even happen?
Yeah.
Is this real?
It's like a dissociation, like away from your body, just like you're separating from your body.
Yes. So then there was just that extra layer of being in Palm Springs, which is so different from Vancouver, Washington, where I'm from. Yeah. And then we had to all fly back. And we're flying back with all these little kids. It was very surreal. And we're flying back without Ryan. Like we had to go talk to the rental car people and be like, we need to switch the car to my name. And they were so thrown off. They're like, we can't do that. We need Ryan here. I'm like, well,
let me tell you,
he's dead.
Yeah.
So they were thrown off and it was just one surreal thing after surreal thing. And then coming home, I had to walk into my house that we left and I had his suitcase, and just, I didn't unpack that for 2 years. I just like put it away in a closet with all of like our Disneyland memorabilia. I was suddenly a widow, which is like a word that you never think of before you're living it. Mm-hmm. And I was a single mom and I was a solo business owner because we were running this business together and I decided to continue running it without him. Yeah, definitely worst day of my life. I go back there every year. I go back to Palm Springs because I think it's easy as time goes on to feel like, did that even happen?
Mm-hmm.
As your life becomes more beautiful and like all this good gets added to your life, sometimes you can be like, did that other life happen?
Yeah.
And did that terrible thing that happened in such a short window of time for me? Like yours is like a long journey, which is a whole other layer of trauma.
Yeah.
But mine is like this blip. And so a lot of times I'm just like, did that happen? So I go back to Palm Springs to just kind of remember that, oh, this happened. And this is always going to be sad. And I'm always going to miss Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like people can be surprised, probably even like watching this podcast, that you speak about all of it. So like, matter of fact,
Oh, I know.
And I know people respond that way to me as well.
And you're in year one. But even in year one,
I'm in year one, but also like I experienced grief during Tanner's 5 years of him dying. And so like I was on Matt and Abby. I don't know if you know them, but they have a podcast called The Unplanned Podcast. And I was on their podcast talking about it very matter of factly.
Yeah.
And people are surprised by that.
I know.
But like grief, it just looks so different as time moves forward.
Yes. And you're not always crying.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That doesn't mean that that's not grief. Yeah. Right. And I do think even right away, like I spoke at the memorial and I didn't cry because I was like, I think there's just like two parts of your brain. There's like, okay, we are not going to shut down right now in front of 1,000 people. Like we are going to get this out. But then that other part where you're worried, am I sad enough for everybody? And you're kind of worried what other people think about performing grief in the way that everyone expects. And it's okay if there's not tears. That doesn't mean that there's not pain or
100%.
love or sadness. But yeah, I do often when I'm talking on podcasts or things, I do give the disclaimer, like I'm not a sociopath. I'm about to tell the story. I've told it so many times.
Yeah. It's just information now. Like when you speak it, it's information. But then like your like lived experience of experiencing it is like separate from that.
Yeah.
There's like the logic side, the left and the right side of your brain.
Yes.
There's the emotion side and the logic side.
And sometimes I'm shocked at the things that do make me cry. So 2 days ago, I was talking to somebody about writing the book. I've been talking about this book a lot and talking about the worst thing that ever happened to me. And they were talking about creating with Ryan, which I talk about in the book a lot, like us writing together. And she started quoting some things from the book where he and I just made this dumb video series for kids. And that I said we were like drunk on the intoxication of our like imagination, that we were just creating together. And she's like, you must miss that so much. And I was like, that actually is what I miss the most.
Yeah.
And no one has like brought that up. I started crying because I was like, that's what I lost more than anything, is just that friend. I miss his friendship the most as time goes on. The pain for your kids is what grows and changes and just always feels very sharp and achy because as they get older, there's just new layers of things that your
new understanding for them.
Yeah. And that your person is missing. For myself, it's really the friendship of Ryan that I miss so much. I just want to, nobody thought about that movie that I just watched. You know, I want to talk to him about it. And it's frustrating that I can't. Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah. So you said you guys sing songs to him or just sing songs?
Yes.
What were the songs?
Oh, we worship songs. So my brother-in-law grabbed a guitar and I remember it was 2 songs, but I don't remember the second song.
Yeah.
The one song was Bless the Lord, oh my, like the 10,000 Reasons. Do you know that song? Bless the Lord, oh my soul, worship his holy name. Okay. That song he sang, and I wasn't really like singing. I got to finally lay on Ryan's chest because he was like covered in wires and stuff the whole time. And I kept saying like, can I hold his hand? Can I lay on him? Can I cuddle? Like I slept there that night and I was like, can I sleep with him? And they were saying no, because it was dangerous to him to like be on the wires. But then when they took him off life support, obviously there's no risk of that. So they're like, you can lay with him. So during that song, I just laid with him. The first time I heard that song after he died was like the first time I had a real trigger trauma reaction. I really didn't have much of that. Like I didn't suffer from panic attacks like Ryan did. And I was like, oh, I felt a little bit like chalked it up to failure. Like I'm not grieving. Right. This isn't taking over enough. But the first time that song came on, I like fell to the ground. Because music does connect you to a moment in a big way. And it just like put me right back in that room. And I don't remember the second song, but maybe one day when it plays, I'll have the same reaction. I don't know.
Oh, it makes me emotional. Because I agree with you. Like music does have a way of like bringing you back to moments.
Yeah.
Do you know who Lauren Daigle is?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a song that she sings called, I think it's like "To Know Me Is to Know My Friend."
Oh, cool.
It's in one of her more recent albums, but that song always makes me think of Tanner. Because I think what that song is saying is to know me as in God, is to know my friend. And I felt that with Tanner, like knowing Tanner, I felt closer to God just because he was such a good person, such a godly person.
That I felt like that with Ryan too.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I don't know if you probably got a lot of like, what's your faith like right now?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? When you are married to someone who has really strong faith, and Ryan was like a giant Bible nerd, like he went to Bible college. So his idea of a good time was reading like a thick theology textbook, like big nerd. And after he died, I was like, no, I'm not wavering because it's so connected to Ryan. Because you like want to do the things they loved. And so I felt even more challenged to like grab a big theology textbook and to like nerd out about faith stuff. So it was interesting. I always wondered like, oh, had he died and not been connected to God in that way, then maybe I would have had a harder time. But it was like very connected, especially at the beginning, to him. Like my faith journey.
100%. That's similar to how it was for Tanner and myself. And even up to a couple days before Tanner died, I remember he was on hospice and he was like so sick, so frail. Like he could barely walk or anything. But this church member came over and Tanner like stood up and he turned around and he knelt on the ground to pray. And like this was like couple days before he died. And that made me cry. Like I just sobbed because I was like, here's this man who's literally about to meet God. And he is just like the faith to just stand up, turn around and pray. And he also said around that same time, probably in that same hour, that he just said, I've done my best and I'm going to leave it up to the Savior, Jesus, for the rest.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's got to be a lot to watch the person that you love know they're going to die.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, when Ryan died, I was very jealous of cancer widows because you had like the conversations. It's like, I wish I would have just had one. Like we were in a fight at Disneyland. We were like annoyed with each other. We were on a stressful family vacation and then he suddenly dies.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I wish that I had this moment of cherishing, this moment of like, getting to hear his thoughts for my future about dating again or about remarriage and about my like the kids and just his hopes and his dreams for them, honestly. But then sometimes I'm like, wow, how traumatic would it be to hear those things? I don't know. And how hard would it be to watch him know he was going to die? So I think in some ways, sudden death is a gift for them.
Yeah.
There's no really gift in death, but if you were going to say that, but for the widow, it is a bit harder because you just didn't get those goodbyes. You didn't get those final conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember if it was you or someone else. I had another podcast earlier today and we were talking about like the trauma of sudden and slow loss and how they're so different. I've talked to some widows that are like, I'm grateful that it was just so fast. And then like, I personally am grateful that, well, I wouldn't say I'm grateful that it was slow because that was hell, but I'm grateful that I was able to have all those intentional conversations.
Yes. But do you think there's like a trauma? I've never had those. So,
yeah.
And I craved them so bad. Like I journaled, if I look back at the way my head was going during that year, it was like very jealous of people that just got to talk. I was like, I just want 5 minutes with that. Like, I wish we would have known it was fatal, like at the Airbnb as he's going out. And like, I would have just at least said sorry about the fight that we were having, you know, like something. But now I feel like there's got to be another layer of trauma and just having those conversations and knowing, or are they just really beautiful? I don't know.
Well, specifically with Tanner, like he's just such a lighthearted, funny person that like those memories were, for the most part, they're good and they're positive for me. But like the conversations about death, those are pretty traumatic because frankly, it was hard for Tanner to come to terms with the fact that he was dying.
Yeah.
And like it really was a trial of his faith. Like, wow, do I actually believe this stuff? Like, do I believe in God? Do I believe that like I'm going to go to heaven after this? And that was all really scary for him. Even though he had such big faith, it was scary. And it was really hard for me to watch that.
That is what I'm talking about. Is that is when I talk with other widows, because I know some where I say like, at least you got conversations, and they're like, we didn't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because there was so much fear around death. And so it's like, we didn't want to spend our last year together being afraid. And so maybe it's a personality type. I feel like I'm such a sentimental person that I would make him do so many videos, so many letters. Like,
give me
okay, you got it. I would have wanted it all, like give it all to me. And we had never talked about getting married again, except for his dad. His mom died first when he was 19, and then his dad died when he was 25, and his dad got remarried pretty soon after.
Yeah.
And I was always, obviously, like, I'm in the before world, so I was being judgy, like, oh, I wish I could slap
the before
myself.
world.
Yeah. I was like, how dare your dad up and leave? I think he got married 3 months after, and he married a missionary in Honduras. And so he uprooted his life and he went to Honduras, and I was like outraged. And Ryan was like, what do you mean? Like, Ryan had no judgment about it.
Aww.
And he was like, that's what my dad needed. Like, I'm not hanging out with my dad 24/7. Like, I didn't even live in the same city as my dad. I'm not taking care of him. I'm not his companion. So he needed to go change up his life. So that was the only clue I had about maybe what Ryan would have said about me getting married.
I think
again.
that is a lot of information for you.
That's all I got. So I was like, as I was like going through the data of my history, I was like, okay, well, that, at least I know that he had that grace for his dad.
Yeah.
That he probably would have extended the same grace. I think it was just hard for me because Ryan was such a romantic that he very much talked to me like I was the only one. Like I was the only one he'd ever love.
Yeah.
And so that was conflicting at first when I'm like, wow, I have this whole life in front of me and these kids that I didn't plan to raise by myself. And when I started thinking about, like, started noticing other guys and being lonely, I felt like it was such a betrayal to Ryan because he was so like emphatically like, you are the one. And so I just felt like, oh, icky, like, oh, I can't have these feelings. So then I did sort of go through the database of my brain and like, okay, we never got to have those talks. But if we actually were talking about him dying, I think he would extend that, no, like, get married. Like, you should have, like, he loved me. One thing that was a helpful thought for me from a therapist was that it's not a betrayal to Ryan to want to be married again, because all it shows is that you had something good. You had companionship. You're made for companionship, and that you really liked it and it was good.
Yeah.
So he was talking about often like people that have a traumatic marriage and a divorce, like, don't necessarily want to get married again.
Yeah.
So he's like, all it is evidence of your love for Ryan.
Oh, I love that.
That really helped me.
I hope there are widows listening to that, because I think that will be so helpful for like any current or future widows to remember that.
Yeah, that it's not a betrayal to fall in love again. It just shows that you had something good. And of course, you would want something good again.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, even for those in blissful ignorance of not experiencing this, because people, you know,
pre-widows, pre-grievers,
pre-grievers who have opinions about, you know, widows dating again, widowers, whatever.
Yeah. And also like even older widows and widowers dating again. Because I know like older kids have opinions if their parents get married again. But again, you're not giving them, you can give them relationship and love, but companionship on a marriage level is different. And if they need to go find that, like, that is okay.
Yeah. Tell me about your chapter 2.
Chapter 2, his name is Solomon.
Solomon. Oh.
Very funny story. We met pretty soon after Ryan died. I was filming a video at his house. He's an architect. He had like flipped a house and I decided my sister had gone to his open house and said, you should film videos there, like TV commercials. So I was there filming and then he was kind of semi-interested, which was really surreal because my husband had just died. So at the time I really wasn't ready to date, but I was like, oh, this is a very handsome man. So that was part of the betrayal feelings.
We have eyes.
We have eyes. He's a very good looking man. And I was quite lonely. So I was like, that was the first betrayal. It's like, oh, I kind of had this little crush on this architect. And he was like pursuing me kind of.
Yeah.
And he had offered, he's like, I heard you want to remodel your kitchen because I had got some money after Ryan died.
Oh, so you had
by
life
a
insurance?
Beautiful community. No, I did. I had a very small life insurance and then also GoFundMe. People gave so much money.
Community life insurance.
Yeah, but also some life insurance. So I was like, oh, I'm going to remodel my kitchen.
Yeah.
And he goes, I heard you want to remodel your kitchen. Like, I would love to help you for free. Like, design it and help get the materials and all that. Anyways, everybody in my world was like, this is way too soon. And then they all sort of knew him. He was new to me, but they had known him and they were like, what are you doing? No, they called him off. Okay. And so he started dating somebody else, which of course, I mean, that makes sense. That's fine.
Yeah.
She didn't have kids. She wasn't a widow. So he's dating her. And then I still needed my kitchen remodeled. So I was like, do you think I could still get my kitchen remodeled? Like asking my friends, even though he's no longer, I don't know if that was part of him hitting on me. And they were like, absolutely. So I call him up. He remodels my kitchen, but it's like all business because he's dating someone else. But every time I'm kind of doing my makeup just in case. And he kind of becomes a joke, honestly, because he was the first guy after Ryan died that noticed me, that I noticed, but I didn't know him at all. And so he's just in the back of my mind. A year goes by. And I decide I want to do my bathroom, but it was past a year. I didn't want any widow favors. I was like, I'm going to pay you. You did such a great job with my kitchen. And so he comes and he does my bathroom, but he's broken up.
Oh, wait, how did you find that information out?
Through the grapevine. Okay. It was in the middle of our bathroom remodel that the relationship ended. So he stays one day and he brings tile and he just doesn't leave. And he's talking to me and asking me it was very surreal. I was like, what's happening? And he was playing Play-Doh with my kids, which I didn't want them to be involved with the dating. But I was like, I guess this is happening. What? And so time goes by and we're kind of in this weird zone of we knew at one time there was interest and then he lingered at my house, but he's not asking me out because he just broke up.
Yeah.
Okay. So then a few months later, a widow. And so this is more advice for widows because it was a widow friend that gave me advice. And she was like, I was like, there's this guy, but he's not asking me out. I know that he was interested and he obviously still is, but he's not asking me out. And she was like, I had to ask guys out.
So they knew
after
that
my husband died. Yeah. She's like, you're very intimidating when you're a widow. When you also talk about your dead husband a lot and you have kids, that's an extra layer of intimidation.
Yeah.
And she's like, you kind of need to take a step and invite them into your world. And so I was so against that first. I was like, absolutely not. I don't ask guys out. Guys pursue me.
Yeah.
But I decided to go for it. And there was no restaurants. It was COVID. It was the end of 2020. And so I asked him over to come over after my kids went to bed, which felt so weird. But I was like, we can't go anywhere. I want to get to know you. I made Christmas cookies. It was around, I was like, do you want to have cookies and come to my house? And so that was really our first date. And the next year we were engaged.
Aww.
And we got married around the 3-year mark after Ryan died. So it was an interesting start. And I really do encourage widows to not be afraid of having to ask out if they want to take that move, because there is that extra layer of you're very intimidating.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, I've been in the dating world semi-recently, and it's hard to find guys that can hold space for the fact that you love your late husband and you always will. And a lot of times guys see that as like competition.
Yeah.
Or like
those are not
threat.
the guys. Those are not the guys we want.
No, they are not the guys we want. But like, how did Solomon do? Like, how does he do it honoring Ryan and, stuff like that?
It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is so sweet. And I really think there's just a certain type of personality that can marry a widow.
Yeah.
And Solomon is this sort of person that wants to come in and he's an architect. So he wants to like make things better and improve things.
Yeah.
And he has a big heart. So I think he really like, he saw the boys and he saw me. And there was this like, what can I bring and add to this family? And so there very much is that. But at the same time, it's complicated how like to hold the two stories.
Yeah.
He is not in any way jealous of Ryan, and he thinks it's very weird that people ask him that. People ask him all the time, like, how are you doing with this?
Yeah.
And he's like, Ryan is dead. Like, that's not competition.
Yeah.
And he's very sad that I had to go through that because he loves me.
Yeah.
But it does get more complicated when it comes to the blended family stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not because he doesn't want the boys to know their dad, because we make sure to always talk about him, but because he is acting as he's their adoptive dad. So there's also that element of like, you have to like establish this family because like to keep a family functioning, like to have them, like he just wanted so deeply to bond with them, but it takes a long time for non-bio.
Mm-hmm.
Like my therapist is like, it takes about 5 years
mm-hmm.
for like a non-bio kid and and an adoptive parent to bond in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're married now 4 years next month. And I really feel like we're getting to that point now where it's like, they are his kids. And it's like, he worries about them as much as I do. And it's like this bond, this beautiful bond that they have.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning, that was the only sort of like, how do we talk about Ryan?
Yeah.
And Solomon and like hold both of them as dads.
Yes.
And how do we, it was a hard thing to balance and figure out. The boys call Saul Pop.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Because it's like, we wanted them to have a name for him. But we had to kind of let it be child led. So they sort of came up with it, and that's what Saul called his dad. And that way Ryan can still be dad.
Yeah.
So they have like dad and Pop.
Yeah.
But it's not like a perfect formula. And there's still, the person that you marry is still human. So I'm sure there are moments maybe that are hard for Saul. But in general, it's been so beautiful to like be able to grieve, but with someone that's also like holding you. It's because you're usually grieving the absence of someone holding you. So it is complicated. It's like, I'm grieving what I had with Ryan, but there's someone that's like holding my hand and holding me through it. I'm so grateful for him.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that you have Ryan and you have Solomon.
Yeah. And somehow it works. I don't know.
Yeah. Somehow it works.
It's some weird alternate universe. I have 2 husbands. I never thought that would be the story. That would be my story. But I am really grateful that I got to experience love again. Like most people only get to have love, a big love story once. And I greedily get it twice.
Lucky.
More love for me.
Lucky us, lucky you.
I know, it's like, I guess we're lucky. Not really. Because it's like, we'll take it's bad and it's good. We're holding both. Like it's all in my book. I just call awful and amazing. Awful and like you're holding both at the same time. And that is the journey of grief.
Yeah.
It's like being able to hold both and not try to like sugarcoat the awful.
Yeah.
But also not ignoring all the good that is there at the same time. So that's, my book.
Yeah. Tell us about it. You're so strong.
You're so strong. I'm sure you've never heard that.
Never, ever in my life as a widow have I ever heard that phrase.
Yes. So that my book is about that, letting go of my favorite compliment. And you're so strong is something that people love throwing in the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
They love throwing it in a DM. They love putting it in a card, and they do it before you've ever done anything. Don't you feel like that?
Yeah.
It's like they told me I was the strongest person they knew before I ever did anything.
Mm-hmm.
And what that showed to me was, oh, this is what you need me to be. Because I think I have a very overachieving personality type.
I'm right there with you, girl.
Yeah, I want to be a good student. I want to do things well. And I wanted to grieve well. Like my first question was just, what should I be doing? Like even at the hospital, I was with my sister and I was like, what should I be doing? What should I do next? Should I do grief therapy? What do they have you do in grief therapy? Am I going to have homework assignments? Or should I be writing essays? Should I be reading memoirs? And my sister's like, she didn't know. She's also traumatized, right? And she was like, I think you go through the stage, like they get you through the stages of grief. That was like the first thing she said. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I like treated that like a checklist. And so I titled it You're So Strong because I really didn't mind when people said that to me. I just took that and was like, oh, that's what you guys need me to be.
Yeah.
And I think people say that because they're imagining a future version of themselves going through it. And they want to know that they could do it too, that they could still like show up to their life. And so you sort of feel like you're doing it for them, even though they didn't really ask you to do that. And they're just saying, they're trying to be kind.
They are.
It's better than saying nothing at all. But I took it as like my own personal challenge. Like I will hold it together and I will grieve in a way that people are comfortable with. And it caught up with me and I had to learn to fall apart. And so the book is really about some of my embarrassing attempts to do grief well and really learning that, oh, there is no like tidy bow for this.
Yeah.
There is no beautiful like lesson and thesis statement here. Like it's bad that he died and good things can still happen. But it's not like because he died that I'm going to be this strong, amazing person because Ryan died.
Yeah. I had a death doula. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes. Okay. I mean, I knew about it after. I've interviewed some death doulas. I think that is so beautiful. So is that before or after he died?
Well, we had her name's Cammie. We had her before Tanner died, and we worked with her. But she came to my widow's retreat because she's also a grief therapist. And oh man, I wish I had her slideshow. I'll ask her and I'll link it in the podcast whatever description. But she had this slideshow that like showed grief, two different like parts of grief. And I am so much in this area of like, let's do.
Yeah.
Like I was literally talking to a writer and I was like about writing a book.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I have this podcast and I'm a content creator and I'm such a doer.
Same.
But I think that can take me out of my grief and like make it so I'm not experiencing it, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this is me too. So I get it. Are you an Enneagram 3?
Huh?
Do you do the Enneagram?
Oh, I have done the Enneagram, but I don't remember what I am.
Yeah. It's just like that need to. Okay. On one hand, I don't think it's bad because I think it's beautiful to do something with your loss. And I do think it helps you process.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of room for taking naps, for falling apart, for just that deep rest or that deep like sitting in the pain, because like the pain will kind of like slap you out of nowhere. That's where you get like the weird trauma responses when you just like don't actually give yourself time to pause and be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Because you're like doing. So I get that. And I still like struggle with that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like give myself a little bit more space to take naps.
Yes, take a nap.
Take a pause and just cry. But yeah, it definitely like conflicts with who I am as a person, which is a doer.
I get it. And when you're doing projects like this, it connects you to Tanner.
It does.
And so like writing the book, a lot of people were like, was that traumatic for you? And I was like, no, because I got to hang out with Ryan.
Feel so connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Every chapter, I mean, a lot of it's about me, but the part that are about him, I just felt like I was hanging out with him. And also we were writers together. So writing and doing a project will forever feel connected to him. And so I was like, no, it wasn't traumatic. I loved it.
I love that.
So I hope you do get to do a book, even though you should take naps while you do.
Eventually I will. I will.
So
I will. Okay. Last question. Favorite thing or favorite memory about Ryan?
Oh, There's so many good ones. I think I'll get like really specific,
Okay.
but I have this memory of just a very normal, regular marriage night. And those are really what you end up missing the most, more than like the trips or like
Yeah.
the magical time we were in Europe or something. We were watching a show. I don't remember what it was. Eating snacks, which he called snacker dackers.
Oh.
And he was like trying to do this new regimen where he got up every day at 6 to kind of like beat the kids awake and have his own like quiet time. And so he was going to bed a lot earlier and I wanted to watch another episode. And he's like, no, I got to do my thing. I like got to go to bed at 10 because I'm waking up at 6. So he like leaves the room and I'm like, okay. I'm like, maybe I'll just watch it on my own. And so like I go to start the next episode and he like slides back into the room. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, what am I thinking? Like, I'm going to give up a chance to watch another episode with my wife.
Oh.
I just remember him saying that. Like he was going to give up. Oh, this is going to make me cry. He was going to give up his like little morning routine for just something so stupid as just like watching a show with me. But it is those little moments of those tiny marriage moments that like no one else is around. It's not very photographable. It's not like really that worth like writing anything about, like, but it was like that quiet small moment where he chose to lose an hour of sleep to just nerd out on a show with me. That I miss that so much.
I love that. I love that. It brings up memories of my own very similar to that.
Yeah.
Of just like, with Tanner at night watching our shows, whatever it was, Breaking Bad or something else.
Oh yeah, we watched that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for coming and while you're here in town in Arizona and being on the Grief Witness podcast and letting us witness your grief. I will absolutely link your book for anyone, any widow or anyone that's so strong.
Yes, this one is only if you're so strong. Buy this book.
I love it. Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is great.